We are here at Kress, Texas, in the building of the Kress Church of Christ for our 50th homecoming anniversary. Now, it's not the 50th anniversary of the Kress Church because the Kress Church was founded in 1915. But we moved here as preacher and wife and our young daughter in 1968. And so that was 50 years ago. And so we came back in order to just let these folks know how much we love them and how much we appreciate them. The memories that I have of being here as a 23-year-old preacher fresh out of preaching school are so vivid and so wonderful. It just seems to me that sometimes preachers would go to a congregation in their first ministry. They may get kind of beat up by the church members or leadership, and they don't have a good experience. And I've found that sometimes when preachers don't have a good first experience, that a lot of their continuing ministry is a bit handicapped. But we had such a marvelous experience here. We had wonderful elders, and one of those elders was kind of a mentor for me, helped me through these first years so wonderfully. And we just had such a positive experience that we left here to go into mission work, to work in India and then in Nigeria, and then to be involved in some church plants after that. But everything that we've done has been very, very positive, I think, because we got our feet firmly planted in a positive ministry here in Kress, Texas, 50 years ago. And now as the director and president of Sunset International Bible Institute for the past 25 years, I try to help preachers that we graduate to have a good first experience wherever they go, and I feel like that is just an amazing part of training for ministry. I didn't even know how to do a funeral. I'd never done a funeral before I came here, and the elders helped me through that first funeral. They helped me through some counseling to some members that were going through marital problems, that were going through addictions of all kinds. In a small town like this, you wouldn't think all of that happens, but it does. And to have good leadership to walk you through some of the things that happen in a small town like this, it's amazing. Now, speaking of that small town, when we moved here, my wife was expecting our, at that time, second child. In between those events of the birth of our second child and us moving here, we adopted a son. So when that next son was about to be born, we wanted a little private time. And so we didn't want the whole town to know that Kay was going to the hospital in nearby Plainview, about 12 miles away. And so we packed up a little suitcase, we closed the garage door, and we put the suitcase inside the car, and we backed out of the driveway, thought that we were safe, that nobody knew that we were leaving for the hospital. But the neighbor across the street was a member here, an older lady, and apparently she got on the phone and called everybody in town, because by the time we got to the hospital 12 miles away and got Kay settled into the room to deliver our child, the whole town of Kress knew about it. A bunch of them were down at the hospital, and but it ended up being a very positive experience because everyone was excited about having a child born to their preacher and his wife here in Kress.
That's great.
When we were here, the church had somewhere between 160 and 185 members. Our first Sunday here, the attendance was 186. And To think about the fact that it is down now to 7 members is hard for me, and we at Sunset want to do something to help. So the question is, do we help this church to die gracefully and transition this marvelous facility to something else? Or do we help them to survive, revive, maybe even resurrect? And it almost, it would probably mean that the church would almost have to start over to match the demographics in this town so that we could help to reach out. We don't know what that's going to look like, but we know that we want to be involved in helping this congregation in some way in the future.